Welcome to DC.
And here it comes. Swing and a miss. And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Dagger! It's 1974. The Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions.
Don't like that. I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
Despite all this, despite the churn, my approval ratings keep going up.
We are ready to give our 500% support back to this franchise, back to this city, back to this team after Snyder leaves. And then this is the poo-poo you put on the field.
For the very first time, the Washington Mystics are WNBA champions.
The Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels.
I'm going to support fake teams that can't ruin my life.
Did you call bank? I call game.
Thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Well, boys, welcome in DTC. The talent is here. Andy is here. FD is here. We got a full house. I got to be honest. We got 20 in the green room, too, that he wants to chime in on all things Deebo. This movie, guys, the movie club's got legs. Everybody was so excited to get in here and talk movie club. But the reality is, I think we're going to have to take a couple minutes here and actually talk about some of the sports happenings in and around DC. There's a ton of stuff happening here. I mean, FP's been all over the place with the Caps stuff. Stevie, you and Matt have been trading messages about the Nats and the TV rights and all this. Like, there's so much happening, and I almost would feel remiss if we don't talk a little bit about what happened in the White House last week as well, but I'm not going to put anyone on the spot. I'll share my own opinions. If anybody else has some thoughts, you're welcome to do so. But the single biggest thing that happened in DC last week, at least from a sports perspective, has got to be Deebo coming to DC. FP, you were very big on this. Andy, I think you were on the fence, and Stevie, I don't know if you're even following this story, but I mean, I know it's sports. We can barely get you to watch sports during the football season. I'm shocked if you're following.
I can't hear a word you're saying. I just see Mila Kunis in the background. I can't hear a word.
Enjoy the movie, boys. I can't wait to get to movie club.
Why is Steve subtitled the talent? I thought I was the talent. What's going on here?
Listen, you are the talent.
He's
okay,
the guest star. Come on.
Yeah, revolving cast.
Once every 6 months. Let me have it.
It's a revolving cast. It's a revolving cast. But can we just go around here? Just a quick thumbs up, thumbs down, pulse check on Deebo, and I'm going first. I don't like this move. I don't like it at all. FP, you go next, Andy, and then we'll swing it around to Stevie. What's your thought? Just give me the synopsis here, FP.
If our Captain Joe doesn't like it, then it has to be a good move. He didn't like Adam Peters. He didn't like Dan Quinn. He didn't like Jaden Daniels. He wanted Bo Nix. He didn't like signing Austin Eckler. He didn't like signing Ertz. Every move that's gone in our favor, you didn't like it.
He's got receipts tonight.
I wasn't down on Ertz.
Yes, you were. You said he was old, and then we needed a real wide receiver with a tight end with speed.
We still need a tight end with speed. I stand behind.
You can't be down on the moves that Adam Peters is making. When you look at how much capital was spent and what you're getting back, Deebo's fantastic, and he's going to be on a contract year. You know he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. Even if you get a 1-year amazing rental out of him, you made it to the championship game last year, and then you're adding in Deebo, who's going to have a chip on his shoulder. It can't be bad for anybody to look at that and be like, yeah, that was a bad move, especially when the Cowboys paid
if you're gonna restructure his contract and pay him, $60 million over the next couple of years, then I think we're having a different conversation. If it's just straight value, basically you traded 2 picks you didn't want anyway for Lattimore and Deebo, I'll give you that one. It's great. The value's there, no problem. If he comes here and he's super diva Deebo, the one that we saw most recently about 3 months ago, I don't know if this actually helps the team. I understand they need pass catchers, FP, but this is a big price to pay, and you're pairing him up now with a young quarterback. You're pairing him up with, your guy, the super number 1, Terry McLaurin. Who's the best receiver on the team now?
Terry McLaurin.
It's definitely Terry McLaurin. All right, look, listen. Deebo doesn't just bring pass catching abilities, right? This is probably the safest, low risk move that the Commanders could make, right? 1-year contract. Whatever. We have the cap to spend on him. The playbook with Deebo in it, the RPO, Daniels makes everybody better. I think Deebo had maybe one 1,000-yard season receiving, catching, but he's still the
Okay, so what they're gonna run him as a halfback? Well,
why not? He's gonna be a gimmick player. Sure, he'll be a gimmick player. He's still the in the NFL history. He's like the he's got the most rushing touchdowns as a wide receiver in NFL history. Like the man can play football. It's just a matter of making the play calls.
Are you in or out? Just yes or
I am
no.
in. Why are you so mad that we disagree with you? I am in 100%. He's going to bring a lot more than pass catching abilities. He can block for the running game.
I'm sick of the slurping.
Jaden Daniels, the RPO with him, the RPO with him in the game.
It slurping?
It's amazing.
Every move got us to a championship.
You want to talk about Lattimore? You want to talk about Lattimore? Really?
If you refuse to listen to every time we've made a counter argument to your stupid take, it's like I'm talking to the blue side of the fence over there in DC.
And do you know how many more times
listen to the argument and stick to it?
Do you know how many more fourth downs we're going to go for now that Deebo's in the game?
There's no more to go for, Andy.
We're going to go them all. 4th and 7, we're going for it. It's not even just 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 anymore.
Okay. Stevie, where are you?
Okay, a couple thoughts here. First of all, FP called you a lib. Greatest insult ever. Second, I'm going to start calling you Jim Cramer, okay? Because when Joe says sell, you buy. And when he says buy, you sell.
Yeah.
Okay? Thirdly, you're talking about hypotheticals. If we don't sign him, if he does this, or if we use him as this. Well, okay, someone said, what if a bomb falls on your head right now, okay? As someone said in the Oval Office a couple days ago. The reality is we're missing the forest for the trees. As I said in our chat offline, the only thing I get from this, I don't know Deebo, has stats like
you don't know. Yes.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. He's had a couple down seasons. What I do know is that Adam Peters has decided that he's going all in, that the success from last season has turned this multi-year rebuild into a win now. Jaden Daniels, rookie contract. Let's stack the deck and let's go all out to beat the Eagles for a Super Bowl. And that to me is the most promising, most optimistic, coolest thing I've seen this offseason.
I am willing to accept that argument. Then Darius Slay needs to be a commander. Darius Slay needs to become a commander.
You are being a classic Redskins Snyder era fan, and you're looking at big names and you're making hot takes without understanding anything. If Howie Roseman and the Eagles say he's not worth $4 million, what makes you think he's suddenly worth the money over here in DC? He is not a good player. Terry is his father, right? He humiliates him every time they play.
Upgrade over your current cornerbacks?
No.
Oh,
no.
He is not. And if you watch,
okay.
I would even invite Pete from Philly in here for 5 seconds.
No.
So A, laugh at his face, and B, have him prove my point, and then immediately kick him off the show.
That's a lib.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we should probably do a welfare check on him at some point.
Joe,
wellness check.
Is this Deebo?
Wellness. Well, no welfare. Sorry, sorry.
Joe, do you consider this Deebo? Do you consider this Deebo trade low risk?
Yeah, very low risk. Except in the event of a significant restructuring that puts them in financial cap hell. Like there's a reason the 49ers are moving on from him. I know 20's in the green room here. I'm gonna pull him in a second because he's been like annoyingly very outwardly 49ers fan for like 2 seasons. He claims it's a lifelong 49ers fan. I don't know.
Yeah, but Joe, we're not doing what ifs. Bring 20 in, but we're not doing what ifs right now.
It's low risk
on
it's
a
low
1-year
risk,
contract.
But if you're running a risk here that he comes in and divas the locker room up, like you didn't have any. Where do
you see that he's a diva?
No, he's definitely a diva. He's asked for a trade twice from the Niners.
Yeah,
okay. They finally signed him
because
he also sat out a couple games, I think, without injury, right? I think he just decided to take a couple games off.
Yeah, listen, he's definitely injury prone. But here's the thing: I like the move for the Skins. I really do. Reason being is because, like Andy was saying, it's very low risk, and not to mention the fact that you have to account for Deebo. In my opinion, Deebo is the evolution of wide receiver, which is part H-back, part wide receiver. And then you can use him, however you want to use him. And this team definitely needs an H-back. So I think it's a good move for them. The problem with Deebo is he's injury prone. He's been to 4 NFC championship
Tell him
games, 2
20.
Super Bowls.
Tell
He's
him.
got a lot of mileage
And he's
on
still,
him.
and he's playing for
And
a real coach,
guys,
and he's still yapping.
Yes,
he
but it
runs,
all
he's
depends
injury prone because he runs so hard.
Thank
and
you.
he's
He runs
got
hard, that's true.
experience.
Thank you, I'm
Like, the
gonna pull
man
20.
plays football
I'm
the
gonna
way
pull you back
football is
in when we
supposed to be
talk about
played.
Cena. I'm gonna pull him back in when we talk about Cena's heel turn. Yeah, look,
Deebo is not. You also have to look at everything Deebo's done with the QB play that was getting him the ball, right? Nobody's going to deny that Jaden Daniels is an elevation over Brock Purdy or
I don't
Jimmy
care about
G
this. I don't
or
care about
any of the
this.
other stuff.
Give me what stat line does Deebo need to put up here for you to feel like this was a worthy, shot from AP?
I'll make it really easy. This is all dependent on the draft and what we do with more wide receiver positions.
Yes.
But if we're going into the season and this is the wide receiver room, whatever rentals come back, Deebo and Terry, if Deebo can get me 900 plus yards receiving, it's a big ask. If you can get me 900 plus yards receiving, when is the last time this team has had 2 wide receivers close to the 1,000-yard mark? Pierre and
I was actually gonna. I wasn't gonna just talk about receiving yards. If he can get us 1,000 or maybe 1,200, 1,200 scrimmage yards, that's a dub for me.
So my number was actually lower than yours, FP. Just so just to take it down a notch on the Joe hate, okay, here in the captain. But I actually wanted him at 800. I think at 800 receiving yards, basically is that's the equivalent of basically the next 2 folks on our roster right now currently. And it'll be interesting to see how Cliff in particular uses him. He's not the speed guy, right? But if you
he's a real Swiss Army knife. We went from Chris Thompson and all these other fake Swiss Army knives and Antonio Gibson and all this other bullshit to a real proven one that can actually do the plays and the calls that demand respect and then actually turn it into yak and turn it into touchdowns.
Yeah, I think yes. I mean, of the others, who would you want to see come back?
De'Ami Brown.
Yeah, Andy, of the others, who would you want to see come back? Assuming Luke stays because he's on a rookie deal anyway.
The only other person is De'Ami. I mean, we're not going to bring Noah Brown back with his kidneys and organs failing or whatever. So it's got to be De'Ami.
Stevie, do you have an opinion on this? I mean, I don't even think AP's done, to be honest. I think he may have one more wide receiver move here in him before the draft.
Are we just talking about wide receivers? Because I think the next chip to fall is AP go get Myles Garrett. Don't let him get to the Eagles.
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? Like,
it's gonna happen.
Priorities 1, 2, and 3.
I don't think it happened. It happens that he goes to the Eagles.
Yeah, I feel like the sleigh is just the beginning. It's the precursor move to make space and make room for him. I think he's going to.
I can tell you exactly what happened. Howie making that statement that they're going to put together a package as good as they will to make sure that he doesn't come here and that they get him on the Eagles. That's Howie thinking this is a front office that's being run by jokers like Ron Rivera and Bruce Allen and all the other trash that we've had the last decade and a half. That's Howie trying to raise the price up so that we mortgage our future to try to get Myles Garrett. I don't think AP falls for it. And also, the Eagles don't have the money to bring in a Myles Garrett. That's the whole reason Darius Slay just got cut. That $4 million is needed by them. So I think the Eagles are trying to pull some Howie magic where he drives the cost up and then all of a sudden we're screwed. AP is not going to fall for that game.
Yeah, I don't. It'll be interesting to see what Philly does. Clearly, they don't want him coming to DC, and they have the room to go get him. It'll just be interesting to see how it plays out. And if you're Myles Garrett,
East, it's typical NFC East smoke.
Well, but Andy, if you're Myles Garrett and you have your pick between the two, where are you going? Be honest, where are you going?
If I'm Myles Garrett, where am I going?
Yeah,
Commanders.
No way. You have an option between the two? No, you're going to Philly.
Commanders.
Nobody wants to be coached by Sirianni. Everybody likes Dan Quinn.
But this whole thing is predicated on him wanting to win a ring. His path to a ring is easier in Philly.
Yeah, it comes with money, but also
the money. Assume the money is going to be the same.
You have to think kind of mindset of an athlete there too, right? The Eagles just went out and got a ring. He wants that Saquon touch. He wants to be like, I am the one that put you over the edge.
That's fair. Okay, then if that's the metric, right, or the intangible, right, then yeah, then DC makes all the sense in the world. I'm interested to see how they approach the draft. I mean, this was a splashy move. I mean, I think, look, all theatrics aside, Deebo is a massive upgrade in the wide receiver room. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. I don't think you can dispute that. But I think you are running the risk of bringing in a known commodity here. This isn't, he's I don't want to say he's well off his prime, but, McLaurin, his 29-year-old season, right, that just ended was awesome, right? Can Deebo do that? I don't think so. Right, but
he has to pull Luka. He has to go from fat, overweight, checked out to suddenly on a team that he is happy
I'm
to
not
be
gonna put
on.
you on the spot to talk NBA, but Luka, Stevie, you been watching?
I check in every now and then. A little impressive fellow there.
I mean, they are surging second in the West now. Like they are like a real team.
It also looks like LeBron is comfortable. No, LeBron looks like he's making his comfort taking a back seat to Luka. It's Luka's team.
No, the kid is he's straddling between G League and he gets called up for injuries and stuff. He's not getting significant play time. But it's funny you bring up LeBron, and we always do it in a negative light. Do you recall another time where he's played on any team or he's been option 2?
No,
like I don't.
I felt like his first couple seasons in Miami down the stretch, D Wade was the number 1 option.
I think he deferred to D Wade. I don't think D Wade was the number 1 option here. I think he had a decision to make, and he said, "If I got a shot here, if I let Luka lead us," and he's letting him do it, and they are resurgent.
I mean, this has probably been the first time he's not the best player on his team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's actually an incredible thing to say, considering he's been in the league for 25 years. Like he's been playing basketball.
Yeah, I mean, talent given where talent's due, or credit, whatever. But the Lakers were smart in setting it up that from the jump, Luka's here, Luka's team, and they're coaching that way and they're playing that way.
Yes, and they are resurgent. Again, I don't want to do a whole NBA jag here because without LP, I don't think any of you are that interested in talking about it. I mean, the Wizards.
Andy is a well-rounded athlete.
I mean, the Wizards just re-upped a two-way player. The $2.5 million for Justin. I'm going to butcher this. It's not. Did you get it? Champagne.
Just call him Champagne, whatever.
It's not Champagne. It's not Champagne. But $2.5 million for him for a two-way is a phenomenal deal. Middleton had a phenomenal weekend. Smart's playing great. Like we don't talk enough Wizards on the show, and it's because they're really bad. But I actually really like what the Wizards are doing. The NBA all of a sudden is a watchable product. I don't know again how much you're consuming of Warriors basketball and such, but it's been good. It's been good the last couple of weeks, and the Lakers are a big part of that.
I mean, that's typically what happens with the NBA when you get later in the season is that the stars care a little bit more, and then they go in and they're actually putting in real minutes on the court, and now they're trying to fight the seeding and actually make something real.
Yeah, I mean, but the product appears better. Again, I don't know. Like, Stevie,
we'll probably even still see it with the Suns and KD. He's probably going to play a little bit harder to up his trade value.
Well, they have to. The Suns are really fascinating. They got to reset that whole team, like a la Utah. Like basically, just
I love it. They just inherited the cancer that is Beal, and it ruined everything.
Yeah, but what do you do? What do you do with him at this point? Like, what do you do with him?
You do what the Wizards did. You hope somebody's dumb enough to take on the contract.
That contract twice. No way he gets moved again. But Durant, you can still get. I think you can get. You won't get draft picks, and draft picks aren't really that valuable anyway. Although the Wizards have 2 firsts in the next 2 seasons of drafts, which is great. But yeah, KD will get moved. Maybe KD ends up in DC after all this.
No. He said he wants to go to a competitor. It's not coming. He's not coming here.
Well, then he'll end up signing a sweet deal, team friendly deal, and go play with the Warriors or go play with the Heat or whatever. But his legacy
to Dallas and be paired up with Kyrie again. That worked out great for him.
His legacy is going to be really a tough one to define, right? Because he literally is the equivalent of a mercenary. He just shows up, and if it doesn't work, you can't wait to get rid of him. It's only really worked for him in OKC when he was much younger, and obviously with the Warriors. But has he had sustained success anywhere else that you recall?
But it depends on how you look on it, because he's also the most Olympic points scored in men's basketball with the most medals, including Dream Team and everybody else. I mean, it's pretty big accolades, though. If you pair that plus actual championships with the Warriors, His resume is phenomenal.
Is it Hall of Fame?
100% Hall of Fame. 100%.
I don't know. That's tough. That's tough. Like LeBron's legacy will be, you know, in the realm of the greats, right? I don't think KD will ever be remembered that way. He's always going to be in LeBron's shadow during this era of basketball.
KD is going to be in the Reggie Miller, Grant Hill tier.
He's going to be a Barkley.
Yeah.
Barkley with a ring. Yeah.
Incredible talent with a ring. Yeah.
Talent with a ring. Talent with a ring. Okay, Stevie or Andy, do you have anything else you wanted to add? It looks like you want
real
to add
quick before we shift gears, because I've been thinking about this from a dark horse perspective. Who do you guys think, besides the heavy hitters like in the West and the East, are there any dark horses like a 7, 8, 6 seed that you think could make it all the way? I have one team in particular that I'm thinking about after the trades.
Give me some options. I'm not looking at the standings right now. Give me 6 through 8 or 6 through 9 in the East and West. Who's in your mind?
In my mind right now is actually Sacramento, the Kings.
Oh yeah,
they got rid of Fox, brought in Levine. They still have Monk. They have DeRozan, Sabonis.
Like a sports fan. Look at Andy like a sports fan, talking like he watches all this stuff. Nobody watches the Kings.
I've secretly been a Kings fan.
Andy's team for a while.
He's betting.
I've been a Kings fan since like Peja Bibby days. But no, I think the Kings, like any given day, anybody on that team can score.
It was Peja and Bibby. Before Bibby, obviously,
Christie, Chris Webber,
Hito Turkoglu, right?
No,
Hito. Yeah, of course. Hito.
That wasn't the core. I'm talking like Mike Bibby, Doug Christie.
I'm talking about core. That era.
Chris
that
Webber,
era.
Vlade Divac.
That era of Kings went up regularly against one of my favorite teams of not just the Lakers, but the Clippers too. Corey Maggette, freaking super stud. Him and Bobby Simmons and Marco Jaric. That was a great team to watch. Peter and I we literally would stay up to 1:30 every morning, watching Clippers games to hear Jerry Lawler's call on NBA TV, and then Rick Kamala's fantasy breakdown show or whatever it was after.
That's what we need to do. We need to get Slam in here for an NBA playoffs preview.
Yeah, good luck.
That man can do some deep pulls.
I mean, I can fire up the pot anytime. You lock him in. You work on the talent, okay? I'm here to produce. Stevie, I want to keep it moving here because I'm dying to get to this movie that's playing behind me, but I want to talk about the Nats. I want to talk about the Nats and what just happened with the TV rights. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. One more season of being prisoners to Masson and the atrociousness that is Masson. But then they're free, and they're free to negotiate their own media deal. I can't imagine the learners are going to invest any money in setting up their own broadcast network. It's going to end up being regional, right? It's going to have to go to like ESPN or some local's going to pick it up. What do you think happens here? I mean, it's huge for the Nats. It's one more season to be tortured for all the fans in the area that are trying to watch every game. But what happens, 13 months from now?
I mean, there is a guy who has his own TV station who tried to buy the team. And so Ted Leonsis has Monumental Sports. And so the question then becomes, how much more appealing does the sale of the Nats look after having litigated and finished the Masson deal? And so to me,
they claim they're no longer for sale, but in reality, it's not. I mean, they're still
everything is for sale.
Sure.
And I think so. That to me is the big question. Is, I mean, you're going to get a stadium deal. You're going to get a jersey patch deal. I mean, they're one of like 5 teams that don't have a jersey patch deal.
Yeah,
it is like
a lot of money sitting out there to be absorbed.
Exactly. So you're going to get all this money at the
jersey
same
patch
time.
is it's
the
a
sponsor. The sponsor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, a sponsor patch. You're going to get all this money and all these sources of revenue and streams of revenue at the same time that your young nucleus is coming together and looks really good 2 weeks into spring training. If I can overreact to spring training baseball, I mean, so it could be a perfect storm developing. And imagine if DC has a great baseball and great football. I don't know what's going on with the basketball team, but they have a great hockey team, which I assume is on the downside.
Not really.
No,
they're not of concern right now, but yeah.
I'm saying no. I meant like the reloading. I mean, the talent is old.
No. Talent's the roster's great. Once Ovi's out, your roster's still solid.
They've actually done a really good job transitioning, like transfer of power. Really good.
Leon's is so good at that, but he can't do it in basketball.
Well, I think it's McClellan that's doing it.
You had good GM running the team for a decade and a half.
Teddy doesn't care about.
And then you had Ernie for 2 decades. So,
yeah, although Dawkins deserves some credit for what he's doing with the Wizards.
He is doing really good. I've been
like I said, he's acquired 2 first-round picks in the next 2 first-round picks in each of the next 2 drafts. Middleton, you say what you want, but Middleton and Smart acquisitions are good. Bilal and Sarr and Bub, like there's a lot of young players here that if they pan out, you've got a young, cast of characters that are going to be here for a while. And if one of them like blossoms into an elite talent, then you've got your core and you build around it. You traded the other pieces away.
Actually, I was thinking while Stevie was talking, the whole Monumental, forget about sale of team or whatever, but I would love for Monumental to find a way to pull in the Nats, but also bring the Redskins back in and give us real high quality studio production shows where we can get real pregame, postgame, whatever shows where it's not a crappy YouTube channel and you're standing on a sideline. If you can pull all of the teams back into Monumental, it's great for Monumental, and all of the fans are going to be glued. Yeah,
that would be a coup for Teddy.
Yeah, but it should be, and he had it for a little bit,
and
for the Nats. But
and even think bigger. If you have a stadium in Navy Yard, a stadium in downtown Chinatown, and then a stadium on East Capitol where the RFK site sits,
right?
I mean, you will have recreated what Philly has with the Link and wherever the Sixers play, and so you could really build a sports mecca around here that Leonsis could be the king of. I mean, that could be his legacy, and he's passing his legacy down to Zach. It's very clear that Zach is taking over everything from him, and so bringing those entities together. All that being said, just to get back to the Nats, I think they're going to be a scrappy bunch this year. And the biggest problem that the Nats have right now is that every NL East team is so freaking stacked. And the bigger problem for every NL East team.
Who's the worst? Who's the worse than the
Marlins?
By a lot or by a little?
By a lot. They're not spending any money. But the problem with every NL team that is stacked is you're all playing for second place because the LA Dodgers will probably lose 40 games this season, which means they would win 120.
Thank you for the.
I thought the Nats were scrappy last year.
Scrappy year.
So like a slight better scrappy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
the ceiling. It's scrappy.
Okay.
I haven't watched much of spring training, but I've seen like the scoreboard after the fact, and I've seen them consistently put up 5, 6, 7 runs. You didn't see that last year.
No. The young guys are playing well, and then they've gotten some low-key additions. Mike Soroka, injured pitcher from the Braves, who used to be very good. It looks good last couple starts. Paul DeYoung, used to be an all-star from the Cardinals, third baseman. You've upgraded with some cost-effective signings, and you add them to those young stars that could really blossom and take a big step up. That could be, the making of a really, again, scrappy is the ceiling for this team. But if we can ruin the Mets season, if we can ruin the Phillies season.
So what's your read right now? Like what's probability for playoffs?
30%.
What would you have said about, this time last year for the team last year?
20%.
20%. So improving slightly
every year. I mean, you have young talent that has proven to be very, very talented. That's going to be inconsistent in a 162 game season that you're hoping just shows more and more signs of stardom.
We're going to get
Dylan Cruz, CJ Abrams, all these guys.
I saw something about one-time former Nat Max Scherzer. Does he go in as a Nat to the Hall of Fame?
And he's worn so many hats.
Yeah, it's the Kevin Durant conundrum. Like he only won World Series though, and it's here.
No, he won one with the Tigers.
Did he?
Yeah. So can someone fact check? Where's Stat Boy? Where's 20?
He's in the green room. He's either frozen or he's intently staring at John Cena porn.
I believe
talk about Cena's heel turn.
I believe he won a World Series with Justin Verlander and the Detroit Tigers.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to fact check you. I'm just wondering.
He won 2.
There we go.
Well, can he go in as a Nat? I'd like to see him as a Nat.
I mean, certainly some of his most formative best years were with the Nats.
Yeah. I don't know. It just popped up, and it was just one of those things where, like, okay, what?
Like Bryce won't go in as a Nat, assuming he makes it to the Hall of Fame.
Good.
Yeah.
Juan won't go in as a Nat.
Yeah. I mean, what are you following? Are you still following Juan's storylines, Stevie?
So Scherzer's played the most seasons with Washington, so he might.
Yeah, and they were impactful. I mean, he was at his peak.
He was
seven seasons for Washington.
Yeah, and he was the clear one for 6 of the 7.
Yeah, no, for all of them. Yeah, for all of them.
Struss was maybe one of those seasons.
I mean, Soto, you got to give him. He's a big booty Latino, so we'll give him that. But you got to give it to him.
Still following him.
That he knows how to make an entrance.
It's just part of his algorithm. It just shows up. He can't control it anymore.
He can't separate that.
He knows how to make an entrance. Guy's been on 2 different teams the last 2 seasons. First at bat on both teams in spring training, he hits a home run. Did it with the Yankees, opposite field, did it with the Mets. So I don't think he's going to have an MVP season, but I think he's going to have a great season. Is it going to be worth $700+ million over time? It won't be, and the Mets fans will grow to hate him.
Nobody's worth that kind of money. I'm sorry. He's still a human. He's still got 10 fingers and 10 toes. Like
he's a mediocre human outfielder. So
that's Zelensky money. Oops.
Wasn't he also easily triggered, if I'm not mistaken? I think he was easily offended about something. I don't remember what exactly though now.
Yeah, every baseball player gets easily offended by something. That's their whole shtick.
All right, let's keep it on DC sports here and go into let's talk Capitals. FP had to set me straight earlier. I went with my generic. They're red hot and OV is killing it and he's getting closer. And FP was like, hey, pump the brakes. They lost 3 in a row. This is the first time it's happened all season. A 4th loss in a row would be, it's not catastrophic, but it would be very, very alarming.
Dropping to Ottawa tonight would be bad. And Ottawa came surging back to tie it up right now. So
did OV score? I think OV watch were at 11, minus 11.
Ovi's at 11 right now. He did not score tonight. I think it was Tom Wilson and Pierre-Luc Dubois and someone else. I haven't checked. But
so what's happening with the Caps here, FP?
I mean, it's just, slumps are going to happen, right? You're closer to the playoff push. We don't really have anything that you can't figure out. Everybody has game tape on you, right? You know all the lineups, all the mix-ups. You know everything that you're going to have. They just need to play sound hockey, right? And it's the same thing that kind of happens in cycles with the season. You just have to play sound hockey and be sharper passing, take more shots, don't get too cute, keep the zone better. I mean, it's just typical hockey stuff here. I will say the good thing is if you go on a super hot winning streak, and we talked about this last episode, right? If you have that President's Trophy, the concern is you get into the playoffs and you get smacked in the face and all of a sudden you're out, right? So getting a little bit of a slump right here, not necessarily the worst thing. They just scored right now, so they're up 4-3, but a little bit of
the win. They need
the win. The points are there. The playoffs are secure for the most part. I mean, but you have to look at this team. Dropping 3 in a row is terrible. First time in the season, not so bad. But I mean, they're such a good team, and Carberry's coach of the year. The roster is fantastic. I mean, they're still playing fast. They're still having great goaltending.
Why the slow starts? I mean, why the slow starts? We've said that now a couple times at different parts of the season. They just start slow, and there's no real explanation for it.
And it's hard for them because when they come out and they give up a goal right away in the first few minutes of the first, it's hard to start, wearing opponents down and hitting them on the boards and kind of setting the pace of your game. But I mean, it's something that we've seen all season where slow starts still result in wins at the end of the game, right? You're still getting those wins. And to take the word from Steve, it is still a very scrappy team and it's still a fairly young roster now. And it's just some of the growing pains that you have of going through the length of this season. You're going to have your ups and downs, and you came off the Four Nations break and you played hot, but then, it just catches up with you. I think that's all we're seeing here is it's just catching up with you, but it's a well-coached team and it's a strong roster. And the bigger discussion is, do you make a move right before the trade deadline? And I don't think you disrupt the chemistry that this team has, even with that 3-game skid.
Yeah, I think the Caps. I mean, with any long season, teams are going to go through lulls. I mean, it always happens. I think this team has enough experience to kind of fight through that, right? And then sometimes I actually don't think it's such a bad thing to go through some slumps, right? Like it lights that fire back under your ass again. Like, all right, we got to get back on track, right?
Yeah,
Like
we got a
it
little
does light a
lazy with
fire
it.
under your ass a little bit.
Yeah. Everyone's telling them that they're so good, they're the best team in the league, and all of a sudden you get a little bit lazier going into practice.
Steve, are you watching any Caps? Are you tracking Ovi?
No, wait. I saw a Penguins game after I was on that that USA Canada kick.
Yeah. That was a great game.
Yeah, they played the week after, and then the Caps just destroyed them. Put up like 6 in like the second period or something. You like how I knew it was period, not quarter, Joe?
Yeah,
that's why I'm the talent. Okay.
This is a deep pull for Stevie right there.
I assume as he gets within 2 or 3 goals of the record, I mean, this will be like Barry Bonds breaking the record. People, the live tune-ins.
FP, you're not kidding. That's literally like a 3-2 fastball that he just crushed, and like
it's huge.
Yeah,
huge.
Yeah.
I don't know where we'd be without Stevie.
Hey, I'd ask that question about where would we be without this guy?
Yeah. You want to talk? Well, hold on. Before we get into that, FP and Andy, Ovi's going to get this done in March, or are we looking at April?
I think we're still looking mid-April.
Mid-April.
Is there a way for the local broadcast guys to be part of the announced team on, like, when we get a little bit closer? I don't know if you guys are following that story, but they're basically openly petitioning JB and Locker at this point. Like, we need to be on the national call. Like, call us up or simulcast
I would
us.
love
They should be there. Like, they've been calling Ovi games for 20 years. Like, it should be them.
The national announcers,
ESPN crew.
They're so anti-Caps, and it's just ingrained in them to be anti-Caps because the Caps were so good for so long without getting a championship. It was just such a good team that there's just anti-Caps, anti-OV. They should blazing Crosby for whatever reason, and then they skip over the team, and then they go to the young guns. It's just, Joby and Locker should be on it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Al Michaels, the NFL did this not too long ago, where they basically had, I think Al Michaels at the time was ABC, and they really wanted him to call one last game with whoever. I don't remember the exact scenario, but like ESPN allowed for him to do it. We saw this with TNT as well, allowing the TNT crew to broadcast on ESPN
for the All-Star game or whatever.
It was actually when Craig Sager passed. Like,
right.
Had this all stuff. So like this can happen, and it really should, given like the it's such a huge event for DC, for Ovi, for the Capitals, and this crew is basically unchanged since he was a rookie.
I mean, they're a part of the team. They got rings when we got the championship in 2018.
Yeah, Papa Lurch got a ring too. I don't think you can name 3 players on the team, right? So like, there's a whole bunch of people that got rings, and I'm not hating on them, but like these guys in particular have been cataloging and.
Wait, Lurch really got a ring?
Yeah, no way.
That pisses me. There's no way he got a ring.
They were in the parade. My guy Chad Dukes got a ring.
Being in the parade is Chad Dukes didn't get a ring.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Did he buy a replica ring off Fanatics, or did he get a real expensive ring?
I got a replica ring. Okay?
Yeah, he got a ring. He got
There's
a ring.
No way.
Yeah.
This is a really.
They were in the parade.
It's a phenomenal scene. Everybody at 106.7 got rings when the Nats won and when the Caps won. Yeah,
there's no way.
Yeah. That's a real. Okay, I mean that's fine.
Your sources over there, Joe.
Okay. Well, you're just gonna you make a call.
He might be over there kissing rings, but it ain't no championship ring.
All right, 20 is chomping at the bit to get back in here. 20, give us your drive-by on Cena turning heel.
It's just for Mania, to get people to watch WrestleMania.
Thank you so much. It's perfect. That's exactly what we needed out of him. It was. Does anybody care about this? I mean, him and I are going to do I think we're going to do a spin-off wrestling show because it's really good again all of a sudden. The Rock has actually done a really good job embracing like the full heel with the bell-bottom pants and all that jazz. But it's it happened. I mean, that's it. You guys don't care, so we don't have to talk about it. Stevie, I mean, do you want to talk Dark MAGA, or are we parking that topic for right now?
I mean, as long as everyone acknowledges the incredible thing that happened at the White House a few days ago.
I will say, I want to go first on this. he said both the president and the vice president said out loud what everybody has already realized and has known for a long time. One side is incapable of winning this conflict, period. Now, the flip side of that is you could argue that the oppressor in this case lost already, just from the sense that they can't fully win, right? It's been years and they can't just squash, I don't want to get like too far into it, Stevie, but I don't like everybody was up in arms over, oh, you can't do this and that. They can do whatever they want, first of all. And secondly, they didn't say anything that everybody else didn't already realize. And given the Doge themes in Washington, D.C. about fraud, waste, and abuse in general, if you can't account for every penny that the American public is giving you, you don't get any more pennies. It's a very simplistic take.
I've been saying before Donald Trump walked into the White House that the Ukraine war will turn out to be the greatest grift and the greatest corruption, even greater than what happened in Iraq, which was a pretty crazy corruption in and of itself. The Ukraine, and seeing Elon say it's about time to find out what happened with the billions and hundreds of billions that went to Ukraine, it will prove to be the greatest grift that this city, this country has ever known. And what happened in that Oval Office was you had a petulant child who was incapable of keeping his mouth shut, start a fight for no apparent reason. You got to watch the longer clip. Okay. Donald Trump has never been known for his incredible self-control. In those first 40 minutes, he displayed an incredible amount of self-control in the face of, Zelensky shaking his head and, all these things. And JD Vance is a pit bull, and he clearly is coming into that role.
Yeah,
and
he
called him out. And to Donald Trump's credit, he did not let Zelensky put down JD Vance. He stuck up for his guy. And I respect that. When he said, it's so easy to talk big, Zelensky said, he's not talking loud. He's not talking big. You don't have the cards.
Yeah, he stepped in. The thing is, a lot of people also are they don't understand what's like. I don't fully understand, and I'll fully submit to I'm still learning about this conflict, and I haven't been paying attention for a long time of it. However, yeah, I see what's happening behind me. You can enjoy it while Stevie and I have a conversation. For anybody watching on YouTube, you're welcome. Stevie, like you unilaterally. I mean, it's tough. I know it's tough.
I mean, realistically, that's where Steve's brain goes when he's talking Black America.
I know this scene. They're about to do this.
I mean, I can't wait to talk about this movie. But unilaterally canceling elections, consolidating everything into a single state-run media, like these are things that are not in line with U.S. democracy. Yeah,
and if you want a beta test right now, anyone with a Ukraine flag in their bio right now, okay, there's your beta test for the next week or so.
Yeah. Listen, I fully admit I haven't been paying enough attention to that conflict, and when I initially saw the clip, Stevie, my initial reaction was like, it's a bad look, and then you start just like everything else, you start unpacking, and you're like, you know what? They didn't say anything that everybody else didn't already know. Like,
and Joe. Are you really going to fall? Is not you? Is any human being going to fall for the Russian puppet hoax? Are we really going to go back to that, saying, "Oh, he's a stooge for Putin and he loves Putin"? And no, he doesn't.
I think he wants to end conflict. I actually believe he wants to end conflict. He doesn't want U.S. dollars going abroad anymore. And personally, like if that's the very watered down, simplistic message, I'm on board with that. I know it's painful right now, especially here in and around DC. Like, I know it's painful for people, but this is what happens when you have 30, 40, 50 years of unchecked waste. This is what happens. This is the reckoning, and it's going to impact us. But you know what? You're not dealing with a cut and a bruise. You're dealing with broken bones, and those have to be set, and it hurts. Then you got to cast them up, and then you got to wait for it to heal. Like, that's just how it is. Like, you're not dealing with a sniffle here. You're dealing with a full-on unchecked flu or whatever analogy you want. This has to happen.
Tomorrow night, the president of the United States is going to address the joint session of Congress, and it will be incredible how he lays out everything he's done over the past 5-6 weeks and everything he's going to do over the next few weeks and months. I'm very excited, and all the babies that are going to stay home and not show up to Congress, all the congressional leaders. I mean,
maybe I'm going to say what I've been saying forever. We need term limits. We need to end daylight savings. We need to get private money out private money completely out of out of our elections. Like campaign finance reform has to happen. Term elections have to happen. Like these are not controversial things in and of themselves, right? I mean, these things have to happen for the sake of the country 30, 40, 50 years down the road. Like it has to happen. But FP Andy, I'm not going to put you on the spot here to say anything, but it's, every day it just seems like there's more and more coming forward. And Elon, I mean, everybody that's driving a Tesla in and around DC, like people are noticing, right? People are noticing, but again, what the media portrays as the loud majority of protesters and anti this, anti that, in reality, I don't see it. Like, it's just, in the end, logically looking at this, waste, fraud, abuse, unchecked funds, you have to have if any of us run our households the way that the federal government's been running for the last 25 years, we're homeless. There's no different.
I think the only thing I'm going to input on here is, after everything that happened over the weekend and the entire clip and all of the reactions that came out of it, I think the biggest thing is there's a shift happening where everybody has gotten so walk on eggshells, soft spoken, delicate, that when they see true force and almost, return to glory of the Oval Office, where you take shit from nobody, it kind of startled everyone, opened their eyes a little bit, and they're like,
yeah, because our former president was asleep at the wheel.
Right. But there's one side that's like, that's so undiplomatic, and the other side is like, no, that's demanding respect and putting our name back synonymous with respect. And I think that's
best scene in the movie right here. Sorry, FP, to cut you off. Best scene in the entire movie.
How many screens is it on?
Yeah,
I got
different
streams.
I got
jump.
Yeah, I got this everywhere. All right, boys. Can we take a? Well, actually, I don't need. We don't need to take a break. Can we pivot? Is there any other topics you guys want to cover? I'm super excited. This is the debut of the OMC, the Offseason Movie Club. Does anybody have any other topic they want to get into? Because I can't wait to get into this.
I would love to talk about trucks, but maybe we can save that for another show.
God,
can we pop in 20 for 10 seconds to give his UFC prediction?
All right, here's 20. Go ahead.
Right,
the UFC segment of DTC. Go ahead.
Who wins, Pereira or Ankalev?
I will never, Steve, and you should learn this lesson, pick against the Russians. Never.
It's the Russian. My boss is the same way.
I love Alex, but yeah. I love Alex, but no. Definitely giving it to the Russian. Are you going to?
Stevie, who you got?
The timing is
into a great bit, okay?
The timing is perfect.
I actually love having people back there because we pull them in, pull them out. It's great. But Stevie, why did you? What just happened? Like, give me the drive by. What do I need to know about?
What happened is I love 20, and I asked him who is winning the light heavyweight championship of the world. You have Alex Pereira, the Beast, okay, one of the top 3 pound for pound fighters in the world, fighting against the Russian Magomed Ankalev, and 20 just went with the underdog. Incredible.
Who are you going with?
I'm going with Pereira. You don't bet against what they call Chama.
Actually, very surprising that you're into UFC. It's like one of these things that still hasn't it doesn't register in my brain yet.
You've never given it a chance. Have you watched?
The cards are too long.
I don't even know where to go to. Where do I go to watch?
Like you need FP, you need ESPN Plus, but then you need
just go to
TV on top of it. Don't do it because I don't want to
send me to a website that's gonna break.
No. Go to the ship garden. Go to the shisha. Go to the Tyson's beer garden.
Well, I mean, what time does the main event start? Like midnight? Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. That is not something
I'd go if you hosted a watch party and had some food and drinks.
It's too late.
1 a.m.
It's the same problem. It's the same problem.
You're not the type of visitor Stevie wants at his house at 1 a.m. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
he's looking for Soto builds.
I'm curled up in bed, okay, and I'm watching it under the covers. And I know FP's about to make a joke, okay.
Save it for the offline chat. Boys, I want to get into our first off-season movie club, the premiere episode here. Any other topics? Andy wants to talk about trucks. Stevie, anything from you? FP, anything from you?
Freaking Caps tied game.
How much is left?
It's about to go into overtime. It's like 16 seconds left.
All right, keep us posted. But without further ado, then, we're getting into the off-season movie club. I'm really excited about this. 1 movie a week. We'll rotate. Everyone gets to pick a movie. I was up first. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, 2008. Absolute banger of a film. Absolute classic movie. 2008. The official critic score on Forgetting Sarah Marshall, 84%. Crazy high. One of the few times I've ever looked up a movie. The fans have reviewed this movie. 250,000 plus reviews, only put it at 76%. So a rare issue here where the critics are higher or more up on the movie than the people, so to speak. But 2008, and this movie, this is Judd Apatow, right? So everyone's got an opinion on it. But just before we get into this exact movie, do anyone know any other movies from 2008 in the same genre? I went back and looked. Crazy year for movies.
Along Came Polly.
Along Came Polly was 2006. I'm just gonna give it to you. Burn After Reading, 2008. Yes Man, 2008. Don't Mess with the Zohan, freaking amazing movie, 2008. Step Brothers, 2008. Semi Pro, 2008. In Bruges, 2008. So many just awesome movie. Get Smart, 2008. Fool's Gold, 2008. Lots and lots and lots and lots of good movies. But
Pineapple Express, 2008.
Yes. This is
Right,
also one of the. Listen. Hey, I was so excited to watch this. I'm still watching it. It's on the screen behind me. It's on the screen in front of me. It is one of those things where I watched it on Max a couple weeks ago. Then obviously, we said we're going to do it for the show. I didn't realize this, but on YouTube you can watch movies and you can speed them up so you can get through them really quick. I love this. So moving forward, that might be where I consume movies. But without further ado, struggling musician Peter Bretter is better known as the boyfriend of TV star Forgetting Sarah Marshall, played by Kristen Bell. One of the very first appearances we see her as a headlining actress in Hollywood, right? Her career has exploded over the last 12, 13, 14 years. After she's unceremoniously, after she dumps him, he feels lost and alone, makes a last-ditch effort to get over her by going to Hawaii. However, she and her new boyfriend, played by the incredible Russell Brand, Stevie's boy, are in the same hotel. And that sets the tone. There was a less successful follow-up to this movie, but let's park that one for just a second. It was called Get Him to the Greek for anybody that doesn't recall. But Forgetting Sarah Marshall, we're going to rate it at the end. 1 through 5, no halves. But boys, this is the best movie of 2008. I love this movie. I love this movie.
This was the start of the Paul Rudd, Jason Segel, Jonah Hill, cast of misfits, pothead movie crew, right? Like it replaced the Adam Sandler, whatever his crew was.
Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in this movie we've got Jason Segel, of course, Kristen Bell, Stevie's girl Mila Kunis. We've got Russell Brand. We've got Bill Hader. We've got a very powerful, memorable, but very small part from Billy Baldwin. He's Sarah Marshall's co-star on the canceled, stupid TV show that they keep cutting in and out of. Yeah, I mean, Jack McBrayer, I don't know if you guys follow his career at all. He's part of the newlywed couple that just pops in and out of the entire movie. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like
he's learning how to have sex.
Yes, and he's just in and out, and his scenes are some of the best, some of the absolute best. And then of course, Jonah Hill. This is original Jonah Hill. This is before superstardom Jonah Hill, and the incredible Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was amazing on Friends. Paul Rudd has been amazing basically every movie he's ever been in. I don't think he's actually had a dud performance, but I don't know where you guys want to start. I could talk about this entire movie. We could be here for 2 hours, but I legit love this movie. Like I've never had an issue watching it. Every time it's on, I want to watch it from start to finish. I can pick it up anywhere and just keep rolling with it. I don't know. What were your thoughts, FP? I know you were excited about it too when we initially said this is going to be our first one.
It's kind of relatable, right? Like everybody kind of relates to this movie in one form or fashion or another, right?
What are you
learning
talking
how
about?
to have sex.
What character do you relate to?
Yeah, which character are you talking about?
No, I'm not talking about the character. I'm saying with the whole idea of heartbreak, and then you go and you do something different and you find something new that is much better. Never mind. You guys don't get it.
I'm
trying to follow. I keep going.
I didn't know Andy was going to take it to those life lessons. I actually tend to agree with him, and I think it's a heart-wrenching story. Okay, but I think the comedy of it is it's so out of left field that it's like the Dracula song I brought up, before we started rolling. Like that is so out of the box that it's hysterical, and then the other music songs and whatever. And so, and the characters, the way they intersperse the characters, it almost reminds me of like The Simpsons, where like you just had these like very memorable characters that made these cameo appearances and these side appearances. It's amazing. And the cast is incredible.
The cast kicks acres of ass from start to finish. I mean, the movie, the whole thing opens obviously with New York, and they do a great job setting up this film and the backstory.
Just the full frontal, just right in your face, shimmy shake.
let's. I don't want to get dressed. If I get dressed, it's over, right? Like that. That's such a great line. It's such a great line. And
there's one line in this movie that, for years, has been one of my favorite lines in every movie. And I forgot the name of the newlywed guy, but it's when he's like, off to find the mythical clitoris.
Well, he has another good line in there too, where he's like, if you were designing a playground, why would you put a sewage system right next to it? Right? Another great line. Just these one-liners just perfectly timed and peppered in.
Yeah. The bartender saying he turned down a blowjob from his ex-girlfriend mid-blowjob.
Yes. Early in the movie too, Andy, to your point about like the relatableness of the movie, there's a scene, I don't exactly recall like the exact circumstances, but Jason Segel's character is living in sweatpants for a week straight and eating the largest bowl of cereal.
I'm gonna do that after this show.
It's the largest bowl of cereal. I have very, very fond memories of my college years sitting on a couch with the most ridiculous size, like punch bowl of cereal. And every time I see that clip, I get so happy inside just looking at it. Like, this was life, man. Like, this was great. Like, no responsibilities, living in sweatpants and eating cereal just for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, basically.
I think you're losing the lesson of the movie, which is the whole reason Sarah Marshall left him.
Well, I mean, okay, like from an acting perspective, like there's one character in particular that absolutely steals the show, in my opinion. It's got to be Russell Brand, right? Like Russell Brand as Aldous is so over the top, so perfectly cast. Like there's literally no one else who could play Aldous.
The thing is, I don't think he's acting. I think they just told Russell Brand, go be Russell Brand and respond to the name Aldous and go.
There's a scene where we meet him for the first time, like when he's with Sarah Marshall in the lobby of the hotel, where he walks up to reception holding his flip-flop. You talk about scenes that have stuck with me forever. And he says, I seem to have lost my shoe. It's like this one. It's like its friend. It's not the same, but it's like its friend. Like he's on another planet the entire movie. And it's great. It's great.
Russell Brand is a legend, actually, if you really think about it. What has he not excelled in?
Nothing. I mean, well, you could certainly say that right now he would, he went from the darling of the left and the progressives and the movie. Like, I mean, he basically gave up a career in acting when he went, he didn't go dark MAGA, but he started seeking the truth and speaking out against things, most notably on, he went on with Bill Maher, right? And that was like the big.
He goes against pharma. He's been railing against pharma.
And he has been, right? Yeah. And that's why you don't see him in movies anymore, right? Like he sacrificed his career and it's over for him as an actor.
He seems happier. He seems
for sure he seems happier.
Yeah.
Well, I think he did what he needed to do, right? I mean, but in this role anyway, like Stevie, he was absolutely perfectly cast. I mean, the clothing, Jonah Hill, I don't know if you guys have like opinions on Jonah Hill. There hasn't been very many movies that he's done that I haven't enjoyed. I mean, all the way, like most notably, maybe recently, Wolf of Wall Street. It's a pretty old movie at this point, but like, has he ever been in anything? War Dogs was another one. Like, I don't know if maybe not everybody saw that, right? Where he's like,
War Dogs. It's hard. It's hard to have like, starting your career being the funny guy and then still being able to fit into more serious roles. And Jonah Hill did that. He did that with Wall Street. He did that with that Arms movie, whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, War Dogs. War Dogs. He's done some others too. Like he was also, wasn't he in what was the movie? Not Pineapple Express. There was one with McLovin. What movie was that? He was in that one too.
Superbad.
He was in Superbad. He was in. Then they all played themselves in the End of the World movie. I'm blanking on the name of that one.
This is the end.
This is the end, right? He's in that. He's not, not a huge.
21-22 Jump Street. Fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But in this one in particular, right? Like we see him as a young actor. We see him as like this socially uncomfortable, awkward, receptionist, host guy, right? Obsessed with Aldis's character, trying to he just slips in all these one-liners throughout the movie, right? Like he tries to take away like the coconut cake from Siegel or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna go play with myself now, right? And it's like, what? It's just so out of left field. Like, why is this here? Like, why is he saying this?
And pause.
That's it.
That's pause. I mean,
no, sorry. My eyes
end of the movie review.
My eyes are on the
game's in
Capitals
overtime,
game.
man.
my eyes are on the Capitals game.
Get some porn back on behind you.
I know. It turns out I need the movie behind so we could talk about it. I mean, Stevie, any notable character? I mean, I love this film. This was a no-brainer for me when FP said just go pick it. I wanted to laugh. This movie makes me laugh.
I go back and forth between who I think is hotter, Kristen Bell or Mila Kunis. And I think I started off with Kristen Bell, and somehow my taste buds changed a little bit to Mila Kunis. I mean, she is perfect. She is delightful.
In this movie, she is perfect.
But Mila's like half canceled right now. Her and Ashton Kutcher.
Are they a Weinstein couple?
No, they're because they both stood up for the other guy from that 70s show that was got guilty for sexually assaulting people, and they stood by his character or whatever. They got fake canceled. Yeah. And then Ashton Kutcher with the whole Diddy stuff tied in with that. So they're like,
Mila Kunis seems like her personality is so cool. Like there's certain, most women. Should I say this? Should I say this?
Take it easy. I don't want to clip anything.
I'm ready.
Just type it in the chat.
From a personality standpoint, okay, it leaves a little bit to be desired. But there are certain women that you're like, not even from a hot standpoint. You know who I always think of is Tina Fey. Tina Fey is an average, she's, nice looking, but her personality
seems fun.
I would love to hang out with Tina Fey.
It's like one of the guys that still maintain their femininity.
Yes. And normally great personalities in females are reserved for larger females.
Yes.
Mila in this movie, though, is super hot. The scene that I was flashed on the screen here earlier where she was where they jump off the cliff, that is a 10 out of 10 scene. The whole scene, like the half scene building up to it where he tried to kiss her at the end of the fake date and she wouldn't do it. Then they jump in the water and then she kisses him. Like that is a really well, like I see Andy nodding his head, right? Like we've all experienced that type of moment. That was a great scene. Like Kristen Bell.
It was like she was like, jump, like let go of everything and just jump, like go for it. And then like they kissed.
I know you like your women to take charge. I know. That's why you like it. It's good. I mean, that's the only explanation, right? It's good. Like, listen, that scene is perfect. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite scenes of her in the entire movie. But throughout, like she's confronted on the beach by the ex-boyfriend guy, right? Earlier, like maybe halfway through. I don't know what it is. Then there's a conflict there, and then the guy with the club with the picture on the wall or whatever. Like she's like a mysterious character throughout the film, and then at the end, obviously the curveball is will she show up to the rock opera, right? As Stevie pointed out, right? And Jason Segel actually wrote and like that's a real song, like that's a real thing that he put together.
Can we bring in 20 you guys trying to chime in?
Yeah, I can pull him in right now.
I don't want to be on this segment. Take me back to the studio.
You don't like this movie?
Pull me back in the studio, Joe.
No, he's trying to play it safe. Okay, he doesn't like
this movie. Maybe he's Team Kristen Bell. Maybe he's Team Bell.
No. I agree with Steve on that.
Is anyone here Team Bell? Anyone?
I'll
have my days.
The Good Place made me Team Bell. Was that her? That was her, right?
The current show, the Jewish rabbi show, like she's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
well written character. Steve, have you seen that one?
No, but
Nobody wants
in the
this.
middle of answering. And then
He's clearly uncomfortable. I'm not gonna. What? He's broadcasting from the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Nobody
What
wants
can you
this
do?
is a fantastic show.
Literally.
Yeah, and this is in the Nobody Wants This show. Like her character's really well written.
She's written very attractive.
But she's not. She herself, I don't think, is she's not that attractive. It's the character that's attractive.
Yeah.
In this movie, she's actually attractive.
Very.
Yeah.
But Mila, I think, is more attractive. I mean, this is my vote.
Genetically, yes.
Yeah, I think I'm also brunettes. Never got sized for blondes. I don't know. I never got super excited about blondes. Maybe I'm in the minority there. Okay, well,
depends on what.
How would you?
Dirty blondes.
I have my days. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's.
Team Mila though.
Well, I mean, it's like pulling teeth to get you guys to talk about the movie. So we can.
I mean, Joe, listen.
I know what's going on here.
Listen, I'm excited about the movie club, but you're making us talk about Forgetting Sarah Marshall. This is a movie everybody's seen 700 times. You're not going to get new bits out of us.
When you texted saying, "Has anyone seen this?" As if we're not working from home with TBS.
I'm not excited.
Like,
As if we didn't spend 4 years in quarantine with every streaming service.
Okay, so what? We're only going to pick obscure movies that most of us haven't seen
Maybe we just make the segments a little shorter when it's a very popular movie.
Okay. All right. Well, give me a rating and then we'll figure out what we're watching next. Andy, you go first. 1 to 5, no halves. What are you rating this movie?
Well, what's a 5 and what's a 1? What's the
Snakes on a Plane is 1.
Snakes on a yeah. Go ahead, FB. Snakes on a Plane would be a 1. Give me a 5.
Ooh.
Argo would be
Shawshank.
Shawshank is trash, bro. Shawshank is a 0. Trash movie.
When's the last time you saw it, Joe?
Literally like 3 weeks ago. It's
okay. What's a 5, Joe? What's a 5? Goodfellas, Godfather.
I would say Argo is a 5. Argo is a phenomenal film, start to finish. Well written, complex, good characters. That's a 5.
It's a little
I think
obscure.
Argo is better than Shawshank. That's amazing.
Argo is way better than Shawshank. Are you crazy? You want to talk about Shawshank? You want to talk about like every prison trope in the world is in the movie. They're gonna rape the guy. Then they're gonna let one out.
Listen, we just got week 2 and week 3 settled here.
Shawshank is trash.
Such a better OTF movie session, whatever you're calling this bit.
Off-season movie club
with Shawshank. Okay,
listen, we're going Argo week 2, Shawshank week 3 because
I'm not watching Shawshank ever again. It's too long.
It's part of the movie club.
Too slow. Like it's too predictable. Of course, like how many wardens need to go into his room and look at the big poster of the woman and not think to poke? Like he's digging a hole. He's digging a hole. I knew it 5 minutes into the movie. I had to sit there for another 40 minutes. It sucks. That movie sucks.
Can we bring Peter on here for Along Came Polly?
Yes, special guest host. That could be a 5. Like that is a hysterical comedy.
Great movie.
My 5 out of 5, just to kind of, is Usual Suspects. Has anybody seen Usual Suspects?
That's
Kevin
fine.
Spacey. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Also
I'm going to give Forgetting Sarah Marshall a 4 then.
A 4. Okay.
A 4.
A 4.
It's entertaining. It's comedy. It's relatable. It's a love story. Hot women. Like it's a 4.
Hot women. I love that. That's a take.
Stevie, what are you ranking this one?
See, my issue with the dunk contest is they always give too high scores early on.
Yeah.
So when they give these crappy dunks 100, there's nowhere to go, higher. So I want to give it a 4, but if we're gonna get into Shawshank and Along Came Polly, okay, then I'm gonna bump it down to a 3, especially when you made some arbitrary rule about no halves.
Yeah, 3.5 is the perfect score.
Yeah, what are you?
I would have gone
3.5.
3.7.
How are you taking halves? It's a scale of 5 already. You can't.
You want
handle
halves?
halves?
Yeah.
You want halves?
Yeah, because it's better than a 3, but I don't think it's a 4. That's the whole point. Of
Yeah,
having
I had to go 4 because we didn't have halves.
Okay, so Andy, you're revised now down to a 3.5. It's disrespectful.
3.7. 3.7.
No, halves.
No. Don't ruin it.
Like if we're gonna do halves,
he's grading on the one.
Andy, don't ruin it. We just
impossible.
got the halves in. You're gonna get
3.5 or 4.
4.
Andy's sticking with a 4. Stevie, what are you going with?
3.5.
3.5. FP, where are you going with this one?
I'm going 3.5.
I'm really fascinated. What are you docking it? Like, why is it losing points? It's not long. There's no bad characters. There's no like dead scenes. There's no wasted storylines. Like, why is it losing points?
It's not a movie. It's not a movie that I walk away from like
life-changing,
blown away. Yeah, like it's just there's been movies and scenes and so much out there that I'm like, after the movie is done, I have to take a second. I have to be like, that was absolutely incredible. That was an experience. That was something insane. That's for me. That's a 5.
Wedding Crashers, I just watched. That's a 5.
That's a whole other world. Yeah.
Yeah. Wedding Crashers for me would be a 4, only because I think it goes one act too long. Like the Will Ferrell funeral crashing bit, not that funny.
Oh, it's great.
Not that funny.
Yeah,
Also,
I feel like a 3, you're like, oh, this is on TV and you
3,
watch it.
Yeah,
a 3.5 is you sit down, you watch it, and something else has gotten sacrificed. 3.5 is into the 4s.
So 3 for me would be something I would like if somebody asked me about it, I'd say, yeah, you should watch it. Like it's fine. Like it's not gonna hurt you.
Right.
You might enjoy it. That's a 3. To me, this would be a 4. Maybe like if somebody loves comedy, I think this is a 4.5, boys. Like this is literally got everything in it. It's not too long. It's hysterical. The cast is loaded. Even Bill Hader on FaceTime with his, Jason Segel's brother. Like there isn't a lot of wasted motions in this movie. It's really well written. I think you're just seeing like I think you're getting A+ performances out of Jonah Hill, out of Russell Brand, out of Segel. Like who did not do a good job?
I also feel like we might have to separate. Like if we're gonna keep like Top Gear style, right? If we're gonna start ranking the best of whatever, we may have to keep it by category because this could be a 4 in comedies. I don't think it could be a 4 across all movies.
Look, if somebody was like, "Hey, give me a movie to watch, I want to laugh," this would be towards the top of my list. So I'm going to go with 4.5. I really
give it, if you're telling me just comedies, I could give it a 4. If you're telling me all movies, I'm dropping 3.5.
All right. Well. Okay. So we got our rankings. Good. Done. First one's in the books. That was great. Now, what are we watching next for next week? Who's
are we gonna? Can we do a Love Is Blind recap?
I'm not watching, but you can tell us. Is that a Netflix show?
Is that the Dubai one or like the Arab?
Steve, who are you watching Love Is Blind with?
Put your spouses on. We'll do a Love Is Blind recap. We'll be good.
What are we watching next? Who's picking the next one? FB, I think you're up.
When are we doing cookies?
Cookies can start next week. But you got to send them to us this week. So when we go to the store,
I sent you guys 2 different options already: McVitie's or the cookie butter.
Retag it in the chat. We're losing Stevie. Okay. Retag it in the chat so we can. We'll get that done. FB, pick a movie for next week.
My movie was Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay, Count of Monte. Not the new French.
Not the new one. The Jim Caviezel one.
The one with Caviezel. Okay, so we'll find a link to it. I think it's actually on YouTube, which is great because you can watch 1.5 speed. Okay. Next week, Count of Monte Cristo. Andy, you're on deck. So have a movie.
Can we pick movie series or is it a single movie?
No, you pick a movie.
You'll make me binge all of Harry Potter. What's going on?
Yeah, well, now I'm curious. Like what
9.5 hours of Lord of the Rings?
We're gonna watch all 26 James Bond movies.
I have never seen Lord of the Rings. I just started watching.
Never seen it. We'll go into the ground never having.
I've watched it, Andy. I will talk to you about it.
I watched the first movie and I'm gonna watch the second.
We'll take it. We can come over, watch it on the big screen. I got you.
Oh, speaking of, I need an 85-inch TV, guys.
Costco's got 100-inch.
Okay, I'll take it. The price is right, and I need a streaming
You're gonna need a
service,
truck.
and
You're gonna
I
need a
truck.
truck tonight.
That's a guy who's about to go on an extended leave. Okay, that's a guy. He's talking about movie series on an 85-inch TV.
Yeah. Terminator has 5 movies in the series. James Bond's 26. Ocean's is 3.
Jaws
is 3.
You love Terminator. You got the Fortnite Terminator.
If you're listening, he's not a federal contractor. Okay.
Yeah. Doge is not coming.
You want a shock? I have actually never seen all of the Terminators.
Where'd you stop?
Half of Terminator 1.
You've never seen Terminator 2 would be a 5.
Joe,
pretty much
let's
every
go.
scale.
Watch party your house. Make it happen.
Terminator 2?
Sure.
I've never seen Terminator 2.
Okay. We can make this happen. But for next week, OMC Take 2 will be Count of Monte Cristo, Jim Caviezel. That's a great film, FP. I'm looking.
I've never seen it, so I'll be able to chime in for you guys.
Okay, I'll be ready with the tomato meter and the and the critics rankings and the fan scores too. Stevie, anything from you? We're gonna put a bow on this one.
Tomorrow night, State of the Union.
We'll be ready. FP.
Caps won, baby. 5-4.
Caps won. Nothing for Ovi though. Stuck at 11, minus 11. Andy, final thoughts?
I need a truck. I need an 85-inch TV. I need somebody to split a live streaming service with me. That's it.
He's getting his life in order. This is great. Just put it all in the chat. Somebody will hook you. Thank you, boys, for making time. The show is DTC, Defeating the Curse, available on all social media platforms, all streaming platforms. You can watch us live on YouTube. Moving forward, Monday nights will be our recording night. You can listen to the show starting late Monday evening or Tuesday mornings, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Until next week, we are out. Movie Club movie number 1 in the books. Next week, The Count of Monte Cristo. We'll see you then.